evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town Board meeting of the Town of Ossining for February 23rd, 2016. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Feldman?
Present.
Councilmember Wilshire?
Present.
Councilmember Jeffrey?
Present.
Councilmember Totori?
Present.
And Supervisor Levenberg.
Present.
Do we have any announcements this evening?
I do. Welcome, everybody, to a sleety, slippery night in the Town of Ossining. Since our last work session, we've been actively working to learn more about how best to proceed with unpacking our comprehensive plan so we can put codes in place that mirror the goals of our community. We are looking for ways to do additional outreach to make sure other aspects of the plan adequately reflect our current demographics, business district composition, and housing stock and needs. We will keep you posted. Many of the departments, including the supervisor's office, participated in the statewide Association of Towns conference and annual meeting last week in New York City. We have returned with additional questions, contacts, and ideas for improving public spaces, safety and security, protocols, communication, and tapping funding sources to lessen the burden on our taxpayers. Senator David Carlucci has been in touch with our office about some additional state money he can offer the town, and we have decided that we will use it for improvements to Cedar Lane Park to make it more family-friendly and inviting for fishing, hiking, walking, and playing, all while making improvements sustainably so we continue to support our community garden and our environment. We are also looking for additional grant money to find ways to make the park more accessible and make more of the green space available for safe community use. Before I go into the agenda for this evening, we want to make you all aware of a very important meeting next Tuesday, March 1st. The town has been actively reassessing properties, as you all know, as part of a consortium of municipalities who are interested in making sure that our property assessments align with market values. The process began about 2 years ago, and we are now at the point where we have all of the numbers crunched, and we will be hearing from the town assessor's office about the new values and how they impact property owners. We invite you all to our work session on the reval shift analysis, which will be open for the public comment next Tuesday, March 1st at the police court facility here at 86-88 Spring Street, starting at 7:30 p.m. We encourage the community to attend. We will also be broadcasting and streaming live on channels 38 and 74 and the town web feed through our website at www.townofossining.com. This is a very important meeting, and we welcome your input. For upcoming events, I wanted to mention a few. The open house at Chatham Yacht Club is this Friday, February 26th from 6 to 8:30 p.m., 46 Westerly Road, past the Boathouse Restaurant. Stop by to learn about the club and their summer sailing academy. The mobile shredder will be at Ossining's Joseph G. Caputo Community Center this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 4 file-sized boxes per household are permitted. The Brooklyn Castle documentary will be showing at the Briarcliff Manor Public Library Sunday, February 28th at 2 p.m. about Brooklyn Public School students and aspiring young chess players and how chess became the school's unlikely inspiration for academic success. The Westchester Collaborative Theater is partnering with the Ossining Arts Council for their 3rd annual Living Art event at the Steamer Firehouse, 117 Main Street, 2nd floor, every weekend in March, Fridays and Saturdays at 8, Sundays at 3. Please join me at the opening night reception on March 4th. Advanced ticket sales are available at www.wcttheater.org. I think I got that right, or www.ossiningartscouncil.org. This is a great way to support our local arts community and see some wonderful theater and fine art. The Ossining High School Drama Club will present In the Heights starting March 9th at 4 p.m., part of the Senior Citizens Prom and Dinner Theater. All Town of Ossining residents are invited to attend the prom. Town of Ossining seniors are invited to attend the prom in the OHS gym starting at 2 p.m., followed by a wonderful production of In the Heights in the high school auditorium. In the Heights continues performances Thursday through Saturday, March 10th, 11th, and 12th at 7 p.m. Some seats are reserved for paid tickets, but the great majority are free. And of course, the Drama Club welcomes donations. Speaking of our talented high school students, congratulations continue for our Ossining High School girls basketball team. We are so proud of your continued success and wish you well on Thursday night against New Rochelle in the Section 1 semifinal. Also, our Ossining Science Research, I don't know if that's a home game or away.
That,
know where it is?
yes,
It's gonna be
it's at Westchester County Center,
Okay.
and it's at 8:15 at night.
Thank you.
And
Also,
it's $5 for children and $10 for adults.
thank you again. Also, our Ossining Science Research students continue to distinguish themselves. Recently, they reported the highest number of students from a high school winning at the Junior Science and Humanities Symposium. 11 of them will be competing at the Upstate New York JSHS. Tonight, our agenda includes 2 resolutions supporting state-level actions. One supports New York State Attorney General Eric Schneiderman's legislation to put pressure on mortgage holders of zombie properties so they will upkeep and maintain those properties until a new owner can be found. The other urges our local and state legislators to find a way to restore much-needed foundation aid funding to our Ossining schools to help offset growing enrollments and increasing needs, all while foundation aid has been frozen at 2008 levels. We also will be calling for 2 public hearings. The first to introduce Type 1 actions that are more restrictive than the state's Environmental Quality Review Act regulations, which align with our current requirements in Chapter 85 of the Town Code. We hope to adopt these at the same time as adopting a law deferring our regulations to the seeker regs established by the state. This would ensure that our comprehensive regulations will be as restrictive as they currently are, but compliant with state law. The second public hearing would adjust the level of the veterans' property tax exemptions to be able to align with the new level of assessment in the full market value 2016 roll, which will be used to create the 2017 tax bills. We are surplusing 3 town-owned vehicles and putting them up for auction. This board will have the opportunity to approve the high bids before they are accepted. We are also pleased that we are finally hiring a new part-time driver for our senior nutrition program after having been short-staffed for the last 3 months. We are looking forward to and welcome Patricia Barrozueta joining our team and adding value to our wonderful program. We are also signing agreements with 5 local taxi companies to serve our Call a Cab program, which offers reduced price taxi services to our seniors. We also will be re-adopting our workplace violence prevention program, which is required by the state, but also good business practice. That's it for me. Does anyone else on the board have any announcements? If not, Madam Clerk.
Not seeing any. Do we have any public comments on any agenda items? Not seeing anyone. We'll move into board resolutions. Resolve the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the February 9th, 2016 minutes of the regular meeting as presented.
Do I have a motion? Second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Resolve the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated February 23rd, 2016, in the amount of $105,113.91 for 2015 and $262,464.98 for 2016. Grand total of $367,578.89.
Do I have a motion?
I admit I did not get to go through the vouchers this week. Just big picture, Maddie?
So first thing is this should be the last voucher detail report for 2015 bills, hopefully, fingers crossed. We still do have the budget adjustments to do. We have a couple capital projects to, do some adjustments to as well. Probably the thing of note in the 2015 is we paid the village for the first half of the Munis installation, which is about $66,000. We're taking it out of fund balance across all of the funds. But that's probably the biggest thing in this particular voucher run that the board would be curious about.
And just to be clear, the reason we're taking it out of all funds is because it's going to impact all of our different departments. The new software package that the village is using and the town's going to be using, and hopefully it'll make everything easier. Although it won't really be implemented for probably about a year and a half, fully implemented. We're having a kickoff meeting internally. I think March 10th, I believe. So we're going to start getting involvement from all the departments to make sure that the software adequately addresses all of our specific needs.
Maddie, there's a payment to Tyler too, right?
Yeah, we have a payment to Tyler and also to Michael Haberman Associates, who's the monitor for the reval, every month. So you'll see.
That's an every month?
That's an every
Tyler
month.
payment?
Yeah, every month.
Yep.
Wow.
So you'll see a couple more of those bills. They do fluctuate in size. The Tyler ones, sometimes they're higher, sometimes they're lower. The bills for Mr. Haberman, I believe, are just divided over, I think, 26 months. So they're the same every time. But yeah, you'll see a couple more from both of those companies.
Other questions? Questions? No other questions?
We'll look into the other, voting machine.
Yeah, so we currently store voting machines. We're required to upkeep the voting machines. Madam Clerk, do you want to comment on that at all, about what we've been doing for the last some odd years?
Even though we no longer use the lever machines, it is our responsibility to store them for the Board of Elections, who at this point are the owners of those machines. We do once a year, I send in an expense report, in which case they reimburse us for the rental, which is $820 per month. I'm hoping that the Board of Elections will take physical possession of their machines and put them over in their warehouse shortly, but there's no guarantee on that. But we are reimbursed for that expense.
Thank you.
Discussion? Okay. In that case, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Whereas throughout New York State, there are numerous vacant and abandoned homes, many of which are secured with delinquent mortgages, often referred to as zombie properties. And whereas these properties result in a decline in real estate values and loss of property tax revenues to local governments, resulting in a burden to local taxpayers, and whereas existing laws in the New York State do not require lenders to maintain these properties until the lender obtains a judgment of foreclosure, and whereas New York State Attorney General Eric Schneiderman has proposed legislation titled the Abandoned Property Neighborhood Relief Act of 2015 to reduce the number of zombie properties and to require lenders to maintain abandoned properties in their lending portfolio prior to foreclosure. And whereas the legislation seeks to increase the responsibility of lending institutions to maintain properties they hold in foreclosure using a good faith effort to maintain the home until the foreclosure proceeding is completed or the property ownership is transferred. And whereas the legislation furthers the goal of requiring better upkeep of homes in the foreclosure by requiring the foreclosing party to disclose contact information for an employee or agent who is responsible for the maintenance of the foreclosed property. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining supports legislation to address quality of life and public safety issues associated with abandoned properties. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution shall be sent to Governor Andrew Cuomo, Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, the bill sponsors in the New York State Senate and Assembly, County Legislator Catherine Borgia, and the Association of Towns.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second. So I just wanted to mention that at the annual meeting of the Association of Towns, this was one of the resolutions that they adopted, the membership adopted. And remember that at the State of the State, when Councilwoman Jeffrey and I were, I think we had an opportunity to speak with the Attorney General. He mentioned, we asked him what was happening with the zombie property legislation, and he said, well, you guys need to step up and support this. We need to get more support. So we were happy that the Association of Towns has taken it up from, broadly from the membership. We thought, in addition, adopting a resolution, and this was a suggestion of Councilwoman Jeffrey that we adopt a resolution to actually send up to the AG as well as the governor as well as the sponsors, who we will make sure that we get their names in there, and see if we can help support this legislation, because it really does, it would help us to be able to clean up, our neighborhoods and make sure that people are taking responsibility for the properties that they own, including the mortgage holders, basically. So.
I think it doesn't matter if there aren't many, or if there are many, it's even worse. But anybody who lives near, next to, or down the block from a zombie property knows how how much it impacts where you live, what it looks like, what your value may be. You know, somebody, you might want to be selling your house, and so it's difficult, and we do definitely want to support the Attorney General to help him get this legislation passed so that, you know, the neighborhoods don't have to deal with this anymore. Question?
I know of a beautiful house it was, and about 3 years ago, had a storm and it blew the roof off, some of the tiles, and they had hardwood floors and everything just got damaged, and the mortgage doubled. Nobody did anything, and it's right on Washington Avenue. They're near it's in a good neighborhood, but I'm glad somebody's trying to do something. That's awful. Now the house is not what the value is. But
Well, I mean, the building inspector can certainly come in and require that the bank or the mortgage holder take action so that, you know, to make sure that the building is safe and secure. That is definitely something that they can do. So, you know, in terms of other parts of it, you know, like the roof blows off on the house, I mean, the roof wasn't in good enough shape. Something should have happened. And
it's a funny thing when if a house is abandoned, it goes down, and where if somebody had been there, the roof probably wouldn't go on. So some of the shingles come off first. Then finally they had somebody come put that. Yeah. Which
also doesn't add to the community the community appearance.
beauty.
Yeah.
There's one on
Okay,
Hawks
well, it
Avenue,
sounds to me like
too.
everybody's going to be in favor of this one, so let's just see. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. in the police court facility, 8688 Spring Street in Ossining, in the matter of local law number 4 of 2016 regarding the creation of a new Type 1 list for actions under CEQA to be appended to the New York State regulations for use within the town of Ossining.
Do I have a motion?
second.
Do either of our council want to make any comments on this? I know I mentioned it briefly, but.
Well, I think you explained it. Basically, the town currently has some environmental regulations that were adopted 3 decades ago. They're out of date. They don't comply with the current state regulations. So we recommended repealing those. There was a concern that under the current state regulations, you're allowed to create your own Type 1 list, which are actions which are more likely to require more in-depth environmental review. There was a concern that if that Type 1 list was not continued, some of those things might be overlooked. So what we've done is we've drafted local law incorporating those Type 1 items, which, as you stated, Supervisor, the intention is to adopt at the same time that we repeal the old law, so no gap in coverage for those things.
Questions? Discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign an agreement with Equitaxi and Limo at 73 Croton Avenue in Ossining, Big Taxi at 143 North Highland Avenue in Ossining, Express Taxi Service at 25 Croton Avenue in Ossining, New Mega Taxi at 104 Dale Avenue in Ossining, and Amigos Taxi at 290 North Washington Street in Sleepy Hollow, New York, ending December 31st, 2016, with all coupons to be reimbursed at the rate of $4.75 each.
Motion? Have a motion?
Second, I have a question.
Okay.
So all coupons being reimbursed, meaning the senior pays $400.75,
No,
or we pay?
You get money through the county, which gets money through the state for this program, I believe, right?
Yeah, the senior can buy a book of coupons that they're not paying $4.75 a ride. I don't know exactly what it is that they pay. $2 a coupon or something like that. The cab companies collect all of those coupons when they drive seniors around, and then they submit all of them to our senior nutrition department for reimbursement. So she goes through, she confirms that all of them are legitimate coupons, and then we pay the cab companies at the going fare for village cab fare, which right now is $4.75.
Okay, and then we get reimbursed from Assorted.
Yes.
So if a senior wants these coupons, they go to the community center senior program?
Correct.
And the senior has to be how old? I've been told it's 7.
I don't want to quote it. It's based on the year in which you were born, I think. I know that there's some concern because the age changes every year. Am I correct?
Yes.
It's the year in which you were born. So, for example, this year it might be 74, but next year it'll be 75 because it's the year in which you were born, so it's not an age.
I am so confused by that.
So in other words, if it's like from January to December, so it's if you were born in, whatever you said, what did
Yeah,
you?
you know, like the cigarette things in 7-Eleven, if you were born before this date in such and thus a year, then you can't buy cigarettes.
Yeah. Right,
It's a
so-
similar kind of,
Similar to that. It's like a data set instead of your age. So, if I were born in November and you were born in whatever
So
January.
after this date.
But we were both born in the same year, my birthday might not have happened yet, but I would still be eligible. If I were born in that year.
we will double check with Kathy so we can get exactly what it is and we can post it on the website as a reminder for everybody.
Okay. That
Thank
sounds like
you.
a great
Thank you.
idea. Thank you. Hey, all those, have any other questions?
No, I was about to say it's basically the same. Sometime.
Right, there's a cutoff.
Yeah, up and
Yeah.
down, so basically the same thing.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Whereas the Governor Pataki signed the Workplace Violence Prevention Act into law on June 7th, 2006, which requires all state and local governments in New York State to conduct a risk management of their work sites and to identify and address any existing risk factors that may increase the likelihood of workplace violence. And whereas the Act also requires annual training for all employees and boards, as well as annual readoption of the Injury and Illness Prevention Program for workplace violence, which was first adopted in 2007. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austin hereby readopts this program for calendar year 2016 and hereby commits to working to maintain a safe and healthy environment for all town employees.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, so Ms. Maddie, would you like to address this a little bit?
sure.
Okay.
We have this training every year for our employees, and readopting the program is something that the town board is supposed to do actually in the reorg meeting each year, which is something that we learned at the Association of Towns. So we are now readopting it for 2016, but I want the board to know that we are caught up on training. Councilwoman Jeffrey and Councilman Wiltshire, and our esteemed town clerk knows as well. We have our workers' compensation company come in and do the training for us annually. So just to make sure that we're in compliance, we just want to readopt this, and if anyone has any questions about the program, you can come and ask me.
Thank you.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Whereas the vast majority of properties in the town of Ossining are located within the boundaries of the Ossining Union Free School District, and where since 2009 the New York State School Foundation aid formula has been frozen, despite increasing enrollment in some school districts throughout New York State, including the Ossining Union Free School District, and whereas the New York State School Foundation aid formula fails to address issues associated with increasing enrollment, changing wealth, families in poverty, and other demographic characteristics unique to the Ossining Union Free School District, a policy which has effectively denied Ossining its due foundation aid, necessitating significant reductions in programs, staffing, and other services despite the clear needs of the Ossining community, and whereas the lack of foundation aid has also caused Ossining taxpayers to bear the financial burden of New York State's policy as a union-free school district, has an obligation to provide services matching the unique needs of the Ossining community, and whereas the Ossining Union Free School District has started a campaign to ensure that the collective opinion of the Ossining community is made known to the governor and the legislative leader of the state of New York as they propose and consider the New York State budget for the next year, and whereas the town board recognizes the needs of the Ossining Union Free School District and is concerned about the significant financial impact of the unfair lack of foundation aid on Ossining taxpayers. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining offers support to the Ossining Union Free School District and urges Governor Cuomo and New York State legislators to consider the needs of communities such as Ossining and implement a fair school foundation aid formula that ensures proper allocations of foundation aid to growing school districts like Ossining Union Free School District.
Okay, so do I have a motion?
Second.
So, let's just have a short discussion about this. Councilwoman Jeffrey points out to me that there is, an issue of wording in this that inaccurately actually describes what the issue is. So the issue is that, in 2009, I actually thought it was 2008, but let's just say it was 2009, the New York State, School Foundation aid was frozen, not the formula. So the formula itself wasn't frozen. But the freeze has caused trouble because basically it froze every school district at the same level.
But what, my issue, New York State School Foundation.
Right.
Bills.
Right.
It's not the.
I know, that's what I said. So
Okay.
we're gonna take out the word formula, because if you
Okay.
say, whereas
Yeah.
the New York School Foundation aid fails to address issues, then it's correct. It's not that the formula, I don't think actually anybody has an issue, although Ossining has a little bit of an issue, because the way that the formula is set up with the wealth factor, it seems to inadvertently negatively impact the school district. But nevertheless, I don't think there's a lot of problem with the formula, or we've heard a lot of cry for the formula to change, except to see if there's a way to make it better address school districts like Ossining, where enrollments have grown disproportionately to the rest of the state, while other school districts have a shrinking enrollment, and their state aid was frozen here. So their state aid was frozen here. They have fewer kids. Their state aid is still here. Ossining's got more kids, and their state aid is still here. So you can see what the problems are, and how there's just inherent in when you freeze something someplace, and you pick a point in time to freeze something, and then it doesn't ever have a chance to catch back up. So when Ossining's got increased enrollments and other school districts decreased, it just seems unfair. And the school district has been fighting for a long time for this, and hopefully with this resolution, as this really affects our taxpayers, we thought that this would be something that we should do. I think it was done a couple years ago, maybe, that the town adopted a resolution, which then they sent up to the state legislators and the governor. I think that's why we're here asking again for this. And again, Councilwoman Jeffrey, I know, has talked to me about this as well, and she works for Senator Marlucci. Oh, okay. Oh, you'll say you're wrong. Okay, I'm sorry, but she's gonna.
All right.
Well, I was just addressing you, not from the senator's office, because you're. Okay, you're gonna speak. You're gonna speak. Okay.
So you're saying it should say, whereas the New York State Foundation aid freeze fails to address?
Correct.
The issue is not the
Yes.
formula.
Basically,
Replace it with freeze.
taking
and
out
not
the word.
up
So a
here.
friendly amendment to the resolution would be taking out where it says formula, to basically not
Freeze there?
call for the aid and not the formula having been frozen.
Oh, been here already?
Yeah, we also want to check it out here.
Not yet. I mean, we didn't send it to them. Not from us. There have been a letter writing campaign.
Existence you put the word formula.
No, we
Just
just,
today.
today.
I mean,
Oh, it's just written up like this?
well, I mean, it was written up like
mean,
this recently for the agenda,
Oh, okay.
to be part of this agenda. So, yeah. So do we have do you think we addressed, you got the fixed wording? There might be just a tweak to the last,
Yeah, we have
the
a
result.
change in the second whereas as well as in the third.
Correct.
And then in the second to last,
Well, the second to last, the
Second
unfair
One's okay.
no.
financial impact,
the-
that's fine. There's one other place where it refers to formula, I think.
The last paragraph.
The last paragraph,
Implement
okay.
a fair school foundation aid formula.
Right, implement a fair, so such as Ossining, implement a fair, restoration of school foundation aid. How about that? No? Just get rid of the word formula. Does that make sense? No?
And get rid of the word formula.
I think it's only the third paragraph you need.
For the very last paragraph? Right, that's what I'm talking about, the last paragraph. So in the last paragraph, it would say, legislators to consider the need of communities such as Ossining and implement a fair restoration of school foundation aid that ensures. Get rid of the word formula there. Everybody good with that friendly amendment?
Did
Okay.
you also want to add to the end of the resolution to whom you want the resolution sent besides Governor Cuomo?
Yeah, I think that it should go to the majority leaders in both houses, the of the Senate and the Assembly, our local legislators, Senator Carlucci and Assemblywoman Galiff, Governor, and the two chairs of the education committees in the Senate and the Assembly. And, which is, I think, Marcelino in the Senate and Nolan in the Assembly, and then in the and Flanagan is the majority leader in the Senate, Hasty in the Assembly, and the last is to Ways and Means in the Assembly, and who's Denny Farrell, but I forget what his official name is. So we'll get all those
We'll
names
fill in the
there.
names
And what
after
we'll
the
do
fact,
is we'll
yeah.
just resolve to send that this copies will be forwarded to all of the members of the state that this would be helpful for them to know that we're advocating. Further discussion?
Yes. So, I'm gonna have to abstain from this vote, and I want everybody to know why. For anybody who doesn't know, I work for Senator David Carlucci. I've worked there for 3 years, and as an employee of the state government, I am not allowed to vote on issues where we are requesting action from the state legislature where I would directly benefit. An increase and an unfreezing of the state aid formula, which I wholeheartedly support, is something that I would benefit from on many levels. And so for that reason, I have to abstain. And I just want everybody to understand that when I do so, it absolutely in no way means that I don't support this. I do. In addition, I want to say that, in fact, working for the senator, I have a unique opportunity to assist in working on these kind of issues, and that's a great thing. The Senator Carlucci and the Assemblywoman Galiff heard about us doing this and are extremely supportive of any action in which we would be asking and helping them to help us to get the unfreezing of the foundation. And so Senator Carlucci sent a statement that I would like to read on his behalf. And he says, "It is important to me to make sure that we are putting as much foundation aid funding as we can into educating our young people here in Ossining. We cannot allow for New York to shortchange our students any longer. And tonight's resolution by the town board is a clear message that more must be done to safeguard the academic futures of our most valuable resource. I joined the town board and my colleague Assemblywoman Galiff in support for an increase in foundation aid for the Ossining School District. I also want to let the public know that Senator Carlucci and Assemblywoman Galiff had sent out a press release. It is January 19th, and in that press release, they both call for an increase in foundation aid. I just want to give the 30-second overall on this. Schools are paid by by property taxes, a lot of it. But besides property taxes, the other way they are funded is through the state. And one of those ways is this foundation aid. Foundation aid is based on a law, a case that was done back in around 2008 when it was decided, that basically said every child is entitled to a full and good education. And so through that, and they said they deserved more funding. And so there was a formula that the legislature did, and that is the foundation aid. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about money that the state needs to give all of the school districts in New York in order to be able to provide us with a good, full education. You'll hear something called a gap elimination. That's just where the state decided to hold on to some of our money when they were going through some economic times. But that's a different issue. Ossining actually benefits from foundation aid, as do certain school districts. Our assemblywoman, our local assemblywoman, and our local state senator are very in support of this measure. And anything that they've been fighting, and they will continue to fight and speak about Ossining when they're in Albany, and anything we can do to support that. And that's it.
Questions? Comments? Just joking. Okay, so anyway, all those in favor of the resolution as amended?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstention?
Aye. I abstain.
Thank you.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby establishes capital project 2196, 2016 Justice Court Assistant Program with a project budget of $6,554.99 to be funded by state grant funds. Increase 037 1110 2196, $6,554.99 is a JCAP grant expense. Increase 037 0037 3089 0196, $6,554.99, 2015 JCAP grant revenue.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Question? Questions? The grant, an annual grant that the town receives, the town court receives through the Justice Court Assistance Program. It's state, I don't know exactly what the formula is and how they figure out who gets how much, but they get this money, and the court uses it for a variety of expenses that they have. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
I also just want to point out, it's actually something that the court has to apply for, and Ann Malone does an amazing job of putting that together every single year for us. And it's really helped them to do a lot more with, us being on a budget. They're able to, expand some of the programming.
For the audience at home, Ann Malone is our court clerk. Thank you.
Whereas the town board of the town of Ossining has made a concerted effort to lower the amount of town-owned vehicles, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining authorizes the following vehicles no longer being used by the Parks and Highway Departments to be declared surplus, and then to be sold on Auctions International to the highest approved bidder, following high bid approval by the town board. That's a 1998 Chevy 3500 dump truck, a 1995 WLK 15 loader, and a 1998 Chevy 2500 pickup.
Do I have a motion?
Move. Question.
Okay.
So, I assume that these are old trucks that they don't want to use anymore, so my question is, who's buying?
Well, we don't know yet.
No, I know, I just,
If we put it on Auctions International, as we've done before, the board gets to decide if the high bid is something that you're willing to entertain. If for whatever reason it's not, we can always try to re-auction it, or we can sell it for scrap metal, depending on, how much we think we're gonna get for it. There are people who buy these kind of things just for the parts, so we're gonna take a crack at it and see how we do.
I think Tom Earl out there in the audience, he bite it just for the challenge.
I just wanna know, I need to be to it. Does, Mike know about these, and he doesn't need any of them?
Oh, no. Yeah, this is coming from our highway department.
Oh, that's where these are coming from?
Yes, coming from the highway department. They do not have use for them anymore. they've lived beyond their useful life, I believe. And whatever parts we could salvage from them for that were in good shape that we were able to put onto other trucks, done. And then, you know, I believe that they usually fix them up, according to our highway superintendent. They fix them up so that they're in good enough shape to then to be sold on auction. So hopefully we will.
No, I wanna ask this
Yeah.
because I know next year we'll be talking about some new ones.
That was last year.
Last
year we already did, yeah.
That's every year.
It is every year. It is every year. But we did purchase quite a few trucks last year, I believe, or and from last year's budget. So, okay. So, good. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Austin hereby appoints Patricia Bereswaita Austin to the probationary position of part-time chauffeur in the senior nutrition department at an hourly rate of $12 effective March 1st, 2016.
I have a motion.
Second.
Questions? Discussion? Excited?
Excited.
Oh.
Excited.
Yeah. She's also speaks Spanish, which is lovely, very useful to our program, and we're happy to be welcoming her on board. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Resolved, the town board of the town of Austin hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2016 at 7:35 p.m. in the Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street in Austin, in the matter of local law number 5 of 2016 regarding a change to the veterans exemption in the town of Austin.
Do I have a motion? Discussion? Want to know about that?
Yeah, which vet exemption, because we
Oh.
already have a few, right?
No, these are all of the veterans exemptions.
see.
We have to adjust them based on when we do the reassessment. The rule changes, and so they have to be adjusted based on that. And our town council, I don't know if you want to comment, if you're comfortable.
That's correct, and there's a couple of other tweaks to it that are authorized by state law, and the assessor recommended that we adopt those changes so that we're in compliance with changes in state law, and also be able to adjust automatically based upon the reval so that the veterans don't get shortchanged on the.
Excellent. All right. So therefore, since it's a local law, we'll have to have a public hearing, and that's scheduled for March 8th.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
Correspondence to be received and filed. Resolved, the town board of the town of Austin hereby accepts the following planning board meeting minutes dated January 20th, 2016.
Do I have a motion? Discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
I have a question. Not about the minute, but the video. Who sees the video? They videotape.
Posted on our website?
Do they post?
Yeah, it goes
I'm
to the,
sorry, that was
it goes to
on
the YouTube
government
channel.
It was random, but
Yeah.
On the government channel and the YouTube channel, so
Right.
two places. We're seeing it online and also on TV.
Oh, okay, so everybody should know that the planning board meetings are on YouTube, and anybody who was watching tonight that didn't watch it,
I appreciate
because I don't think
Okay.
I would have known that.
Okay.
All right,
There's a lot of other people,
yeah.
so it.
We
everybody
probably
don't
have to say it every
Absolutely.
meeting. Yeah, that's great.
It's good, thank you.
We have no monthly reports this evening. Visitor recognition, is there anyone who would like to address the
Oh.
board?
I think that we did not vote, board meeting. We had discussion, but I don't think we voted, so let's just take the vote. Okay, all those in favor of accepting the planning board meeting minutes dated January 20th, 2016?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Sorry, Madam Clerk.
Not seeing any visitors? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
He said that very enthusiastic.
Thank you very much, everybody.
They're visitors, they just don't want to speak.
And we do have some bad weather tonight, so get home safely, everybody. I forgot to say that. And we appreciate everybody's participation. And reminding everybody that March 1st is a very important meeting when we will be discussing the revaluation and the shift analysis. So please join us here at the court facility. And I don't know if there was anything else that I wanted to make mention of that I hadn't. I thought I missed one thing. Oh, yes. Maddie, did you want to just make a very quick mention of the SEPTA I'll mention, I have it right here. The SEPTA pre-charter meeting, which is the Special Education PTA, is considering becoming part of the PTA. Right now, it's just a parent-teacher organization, and they're considering becoming a parent-teacher association. And that's part of a national organization, and they're having a meeting at Roosevelt School, February 25th, 2016, at the time is 7 p.m. in the cafeteria at Roosevelt School. So people are encouraged to attend because they need a minimum of 25 people there. So if you have an interest or desire in potentially being a member or just learning more about what this means, I encourage everybody to attend. And I'm sorry that I didn't include that in my earlier announcements. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight, those who have, and we look forward to seeing you at our next work session on March 1st. Have a great night.